Good morning, everybody. I'm going to give you a little update on the project outside there that I was doing off camera. Nothing much, just painting and redoing the inside screening and so forth between the gen house and the storage area. Yes, it's cloudy and cool. Well, let's go around the corner and I'll show you what I did yesterday. As you can see, I painted the front of the gen house and the middle section and the left portion. I'll show you the door over here. The paint sticks a little bit. I gotta plane that a little bit. So I painted in here. I removed that plastic exterior louver section there and just put in 1/4 inch hardware cloth in there, so there's much more airflow in there. And I haven't moved the generator in, obviously, yet. So I got the draw bolt down here, but she sticks on the top, so it stays in there pretty good. Now, this is mouse proof now. No mice can get in there, but nonetheless, I still wanted to put the screening in the inside, just in case this door gets left open or something. We're not going to have any problems with that. Now, over here, paint sticking a little bit. Okay, so we've got that painted up. What I did on these doors here, that fungus stuff right here, it does okay, but it doesn't take all the mildew off. Good old bleach, 50% bleach and water is the best thing to use. So I use a combination of both of them and then let it dry a little bit. Now this paint is water-based, so you thin it with water, so you don't really need to let it dry good. So I did the lower section, which had some mildew on it, and then cleaned that and then painted it. On the side over here, okay, I took some caulking. You can still see it. It's white. I put some caulking on that, let that dry for a few hours, and painted it. It didn't cover completely. The reason I put caulking in here is because I still get water on the floor a little bit. Not much, just a little bit, because water gets into the cracks here, even though this is an overhang here. So rather than to go out and buy a piece of plywood and fit it in here, I figured I'd just caulk that. And I'm going to have to put another coat of paint on that to cover that. You can still see the lines where I was going to cut this, but we can't do that. It's been suggested by one of my viewers to move the thing up to here. In other words, cut this part out. And then I can stand all these rolls in the back. Jim Asbell pointed that out to me. It's a good idea, but the problem is, I slide the ramp into here. The ramp is 25 inches high. This is 30. And I'm not going to be able to get at anything without pulling the ramp out again in order to get stuff behind it. There's no way I'm going to get up and over and get behind there. So I think at this stage of the game, like I said before, we're not going to be able to store that ramp in here. I think we're just going to, at this time, I think we're going to leave it here. Now, like any Behr paint product, this is oil base. If I lay tarpaulin on this, in time the tarpaulin will stick to this, even though this is dry. I've had it happen, and will peel the paint off. It's just the way it is. The paint never really hardens up. It hardens up enough, but not enough that something's laying on it that it won't stick in time. It will. So I've got it on little blocks here, and I guess I could make a little framework, but then I'd have to buy some more wood, and I don't want to do that, and kind of like make the frame a little bit over this so that when I put the tarpaulin over it, it won't stick to this. It's also been suggested that I should take this thing and hang it on the back of the shed. You don't realize this thing weighs at least 50, maybe 60 pounds. That's a lot of weight, and I have all I can do to lift that thing the way it is now, let alone lifting it 2 or 3 feet off the ground. I am not Braun Strowman. No, sir. Okay, so anyways, I got to paint. Not this week. I'm not going to be doing anything before Saturday. Today is Wednesday morning. I'm going to do my brother's shopping this morning after 9:30. I don't do it before then. I can, but then the ice cream will melt. He always has ice cream. He's thin like me, so he eats ice cream every night just like I do. I can't put the weight on. The front of the shed will probably get painted. It's not a priority. It don't look all that bad. But if I do anything, it'll probably be Saturday. I don't know about Jewett City. I spent a lot of money on materials, paint. I bought some more 1 and 1/8 inch sheetrock screws. I need them, and I bought a half a pound of them, and I bought a couple more pieces of wood and a little odds and ends here and there. So I don't know if I'm going to be going to Jewett City or not, but we'll see what happens. We're going to go by the weather. I think the weather, I don't know what, it don't look too good for Sunday. So the shed isn't in bad shape. It doesn't really need to be painted now, but we get a nice cool low humidity day, I might just do that. But the main thing is done now, but you can see that I'm not going to be able to hang this thing up. The only thing I can do is just stand it up in the back of the shed somewhere, which would probably be in this area here, where it used to be quite a few years ago, before I moved it into the tractor shed. You know, I bought that Craftsman riding mower, and I paid $375 for that. I overpriced. My wife saw it in Facebook Marketplace, or whatever you call it. The guy wanted $400 for it, and he reluctantly took $375 delivered because he wanted to charge for delivery. And I only used it 2 or 3 times last year and did not use it at all this year because I hit rocks for quite a while. I was stuck on a rock, and I ruined the blades. The park owner's been mowing out in the front there with his rider, and he told me there's no need for you to do it. So here I am, I got that rider mower. It hasn't been pulled out of the tractor shed in a long time. So there was a time that I kept that ramp in the tractor shed, and that's a perfect place. The trash barrels used to be in here and can still go back in here. So I can put the barrels in there if I have to. So I could stand this thing up over here, but that's not going to really protect it. There isn't much of an overhang on the shed. So I'm not going to be able to protect that thing. So it's just as easy to leave it lay where it is. My workbench is the one on the left. The other one is just an extension where I put tools if I'm doing a big project. If I'm using a chop saw or anything else out there, I'm usually using the bigger of the two benches, which the plywood is getting rotted out quite badly. That plywood was the bedding base from my pop-up tent camper, which I scrapped years ago and got rid of the trailer itself. I don't know if I have videos on that or not. I think I do have some videos on a pop-up tent camper that we used to have there. Well, that's the plywood that slides out when you want to have your bedding and your mattresses go on top of that. So that wood is 1/2 inch or 5/8 inch plywood, but it's pretty well rotted all out right now, and I'm going to have to spend big money to put a piece of pressure-treated plywood on that. And I don't have a truck that would carry a 4x8 sheet. I'm not going to use the minivan for that. And the big van won't, I don't think it would fit in there. But anyways, that's like $30-40 or more for plywood like that. And I'm not going to redo the top on that right now. But for now, it's going to stay out there. To get rain down a little bit ain't going to hurt it. It's oil base. I don't really cherish the idea of it being out there all winter, covered with snow and so forth. And that's not good. But for a short while, I think it would be okay until I can figure out where else I can put it. It's been suggested to slide it up under the deck. Well, that's worse, because it's going to be almost on the ground. The deck is not even a foot off the ground. It's about 10 inches off the ground at the very most in the highest area. The 2x6 flooring, there's a space between them, so water's going to get down on it, and it's going to sit under there and get fungus on it. It's going to stay moist all the time. If I put a tarpaulin on it, being that it's going to be sitting almost on the ground, maybe a couple of boards or something under it, it's going to get the dampness on there constantly under it, and it's going to rot it out worse than it would be. At least it's sitting on a table off the ground, and if I put tarpaulin on it and droop the tarpaulin part way down, I could move this table out part way down here, not to the ground, because you want air to go under there, just to keep this from being damp all the time. Anytime you set something out in the yard, especially if it's a damp area, like it is here a lot of times, and you throw a tarpaulin over it, you're protecting against the rain, but all the dampness is going underneath it, and it's going to rot it out that way. Now this is pressure treated, these two and these two. This is Douglas fir, and these are just whatever came off the futon. They're 1 inch thick. So this, and this will rot out eventually. Probably not as in my lifetime. So This is a long video, but I wanted to give you an update on things. Looking inside the gen house, you can see how open that is now. There's just 1/4-inch hardware cloth here, stapled in with a Stanley electric staple gun T50 that I got at Jewett City Flea Market for $12 last year. So there's going to be a lot more air input for this, so it won't be, running too hot, hopefully. So that's the story there. I just wanted to show the update on this. I'm just going to take it easy for the next few days because the weather isn't going to be too good until Saturday. I may have to shave this just a little bit because there's binding in here. I rebuilt this up with wood shims and took my belt sander and smoothed it out. So it's mouse proof now, definitely mouse proof. Nothing can get in there. I'm hitting the... That's the only thing, I don't like it, but that's just the way it is. But I'm showing you, if you're the average person looking at it, I don't think is going to nitpick. I nitpick because I like things perfect. If I'm building something, it bothers me if there's a little angle or something that don't look right. As it is now, because I didn't feel like biting with the table saw, this is a scrap of wood here, 3/4-inch plywood to mend the two doors together. Well, it's wider here, you can see it, than it is here, and I should have took the half hour to drag out the table saw and rip this down so it would be even. Because that little angle right there, you got more space here and you have more than you have here. It's straight here, so this needs to be cut. That bothers me. I'm looking at that. That bothers me. And I keep telling myself, it's only a shed. It is only a shed, you old goat. Okay, folks, that's going to be it on this. I got some editing to do. We'll bring this into Sony. I make the title in Windows Movie Maker because I can't do titles in Sony because the titles don't work right most of the time. They end up on the video line instead of on the text line, on the title line or whatever you call it. I don't try to figure these things out. That's why I love Windows Movie Maker. But anyways, we'll put a title on this. We don't know what we're going to call it yet. Tommy's working, so I'm going to be doing this one. I do my own cameras anyways. When he's using his camera, he does the editing. So I wanted to give you an update on that. I think it came out okay. If you look at it from a distance, it's got that far away look to it. The farther away, the better she looks.